Game 6 for the advance of the World Series. The Houston Astros against the New York Yankees. It's the bottom of the ninth with 2 outs, and the game is tied 4-4. Astros are at bat with a runner on first. Fans are holding on to loved ones and cheering for their team. Here's a pitch, and it's Altuve with a walk-off 2-run home run to end the game. This advances the Astros to the 115th edition of the World Series. Fans are emotional, fans are cheering and yelling, and confetti is thrown from the sky. Where did this all start from? Knowing more about baseball and the history behind it can really interest people who don't know the sport well. It can also inform former baseball players with new information they have not yet known. Understanding the history of baseball can give you a further insight of the game. I've been playing baseball my entire life. I started with t-ball, and now I'm playing varsity baseball with high school. My family also enjoys the sport of baseball. We go and watch our favorite team move the Tigers in the stadium or it's on TV. First, I'll describe some of the major events that have occurred in the baseball and the impact as well. Then I'll explain about the big changes of the rules of baseball. And finally, I will describe some of the unique and custom materials and equipment that were used in the sport. Major events that have occurred in the past have affected the game of baseball. As stated by Bowie, a news company, in the article 1947, Jackie Robinson Breaks Color Barrier. This was published on April 15th, 2019, inform us about Jackie Robinson. Jackie Robinson was a very talented African American. He grew up with a poor family of sharecroppers. He later enlisted in the U.S. Army to serve his country. After his honorable discharge, he played 1 season of the Negro American League. Doing so, the owner of the Dodgers, Branch Rickey, seen the integrity and talent of Jackie, and he asked Robinson to play on his team. Robinson was continuously faced with discrimination, but he fought through it. Doing so, he was the first African American in the MLB, breaking the color barrier and the segregation of the sport that has lasted over 50 years. Robinson is also the first player to have his jersey number retired in the MLB out of all teams. Another event that has occurred is the Pete Rose scandal. Noted by Ryan Roddenberry, an assistant professor at sports law at Florida State University, in his article titled Pete Rose's Reckless Gamble, published on August 22nd, 2014, states the flaws and decisions Pete Rose made. Pete Rose was a player and manager for the Cincinnati Reds during the 70s, but Pete Rose was accused of betting on the team. This violated rule number 21D of the MLB, which states that any betting on any position is prohibited. This led to the banishment of Pete Rose on August 23rd, 1989. Now they have an understanding of some of the events that have happened. Here are some rules that were changed in the past game of baseball. The rules of baseball that have changed have made a major impact on the game itself. Bases were actually upright sticks that were set upright, and pitchers had to pitch underhand, and the batters had to swing with one hand using a stick. This was adapted by the English game called rounders. Some of the changes that included was, instead of the batter waiting for the pitch, the term strikes and the count of strikes was introduced in 1858 by the first baseball convention. This is according to Dave Roos, a contributing writer, in his article, 5 Major Rule Changes in the History of Baseball, published on August 1st, 2012. Another significant change was called the one bounce rule. Baseball gloves were not yet invented, so it's catching a line drive with your bare hand on the fly. Players were actually allowed to have one bounce off the ground and catch it for the batter to still be out. Another important change was now the pitchers can throw overhand. This was allowed in 1884. There's actually no rules that pitchers can't throw underhand, so they still could to this day. This change led to the astonishment of pitchers being able to throw at high speeds and change the velocity of the ball vigorously. Lastly, the topic is certain materials and equipment they used in baseball. Materials and equipment that they used in baseball have definitely changed from today. Epic Sports Incorporated, and a corporation involved in sports information, in the article Baseball Equipment History that was published in 2019, provided information about past equipment and materials that was used in the game. Pitchers could actually make their own baseballs. This led to baseballs being less adapted to the rule and made the baseball skinnier and lighter. They made it out of old cork from shoes and actually used fish eyes. Baseball gloves were later introduced, and players were called wussies or sissies for actually using a glove. This was a leather sewn around their hand with their fingers cut out. This led so they could still have the impact of the ball on their hand. Wrapping up, first I described about the major events. Then I explained about some of the big changes of the rules. And lastly, I discussed about materials and equipment. Understanding the history of baseball can give you further insight of the game. World Series is now taking place as we speak between the Houston Astros and the Washington Nationals, extending America's favorite pastime sport even with the changes, and despite some of the actions of the people of the sport continue to thrive and be continuously loved by players all around the world. Thank you.